Okay, so coming into class today, you were to have read chapter 5. As you went through chapter 5, all the concepts were, yes, I know this, I know this, I know that. And because you did it in Java, the big part is syntax and perfecting it, and perfecting that whole C++ and how do I work with it. So I'm going to switch over. And if I put this sheet up and I'm going, yeah, chapter 5, and I get ready. I got you, Esther. And I wanted to do a quickie review. I was thinking maybe I do pop quizzes. Yeah, start throwing those up at the beginning of class, see how folks do. And yeah, that might not go over so well. Anyhow, we had this bad boy was in there, and give me a number for X. Shout it out. Shout it out.
Five.
5. Hallelujah. Give me a number for Y.
11.
11. After this line of code is executed, what is the new value for X? What is the new value for Y?
X is going to equal 11 because it's in postfix mode. And then Y is going to be 12.
What you folks think? Can I get a heck yeah from a redneck girl?
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. One of the nights I have my country line dancing lessons. I'm 2 weeks in now, all of a sudden I'm a cowboy. X gets the value of Y, X gets the 11, then it gets incremented. Okay, this is the common one that we use. If I would have said X equals plus Y, Y would get incremented first and be 10, or excuse me, 12 again, and then it would get assigned to X. So the two differences there. The assignment operator is first, then the increment. Here, the increment is first, then the assignment operator. 3 types of loops. Give me one.
While loops
A
for
while
while.
loop. And let's just hold on for a while loop is the big one. It runs 0 to infinite times, infinite iterations, infinite times. Okay, this is all we need. We only need this one. In 162, they're finding out we may not even use a for loop in 162. And again, that's the second one is a for loop. And that's when we know the exact number of times. Finally, the last one is the
Do while.
do while. This one runs at least one time. And you're all, yeah, yeah. This was good for like a menu program. And again, my 162s are finding that, yeah, we're using this the most, this the second the most. In 121 and in this class, you're using the for a lot, a lot. Which one has a pre-check?
The for loop?
No, no.
Is it
Which
the
one?
do while?
Nope, that's actually the post check because I do the check at the end. It runs through at least once. We came down and we did something, and then we did the check, and then we went back up. So the body ran at least one. This one was a pre check, it checked it in the beginning. So this decision box was up top. Okay, 3 types of loops. For me, I big emphasis on the 3 parts of the loop when I first start teaching it. And in order to do all this, we need the ever popular loop control variable. And again, that's the variable that controls the loop. We had the initial value, the check, and the increment. Sometimes that was an update, like read something else in, something along those lines. What's the most popular Sentinel value?
-1.
Excellent. -1, right? Please enter a value. Please enter a test score. We don't know how many there are. In order to get out, we say enter -1, and it would be able to kick me out. We also covered some file work in this chapter. In chapter 5, we did some of that in 121, but we're going to do lots more in this class because this world is now becoming big data and everything needs to be stored in files. We don't have, there's people that are hired to do data entry, and that's fine, but it ends up being lots and lots of data entry. And that's where this world of a mathematician figures out how the work needs to be get done. A programmer writes the program, and then a statistician, I'm not going to spell that correctly, so I just give up. Statistician, that's pretty close, analyzes what comes out of it. Okay? So we're doing a little bit of work with files. As we go through computer science, you're going to see a lot of other different ways to work with files. One of the things about a file is starting at the beginning, and you have to go one by one sequentially all the way through the file. In 162, we're going to see lots and lots of different ways to work with a file instead of having to just start at the beginning. Of course, we always had the random number generator. We did a little bit of it back in 121. If I needed the numbers 1 to 1024, I was doing something where I have 1024 in parentheses, and this guy gave me the numbers 0 to 1023, but I had to add 1. It was that something based on how many numbers and then how far over. If I wanted the range of numbers from 10 to 20, what would I put? How many numbers are there?
That's 11 numbers.
That's 11 numbers, and I'd have to do plus 10 to get me over to where I wanted to be. Questions? Questions? I do see a lot of people are watching the videos because I get a count from YouTube, how many minutes it's being watched and so forth and so forth. So I know they are being watched. And again, you can start them and stop them as you want. Alyssa's going to start emailing questions to me when she has them, which I am absolutely fine with. And questions on chapter 5. Okay. Programs. We're going to write 2 programs today. The first one I am going to make sure I'm not. I'm going to work with you on algorithm and some test data. A lot of you had me for 121, bunch haven't, but I did a program called Pennies for Pay. And this goes back to that whole, would you take $1 million, $1 million, or would you take pay for, this is to work for 30 days. You're going to work for 30 days. Or would you rather get paid 1 cent the first day, double the second day, doubled the third day, and so on for 30 days. Which would you rather get? So
Double.
this is one of those people like, yeah, I've seen that before, and da 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 da. And it's like, is it a trick? I don't know. Is it good for programmers to do? Absolutely. So what we're going to do is you're going to write a program similar to this. You're going to ask for an initial value. You're going to ask for initial value. You're going to ask for a multiplier. Up here, my initial value was a penny. My multiplier was 2. And then what would that total pay be? And I want that total pay to be dollars, not pennies. So there's a chance someone in your group may have a program that looks like this. If I get ready and say, oh, somebody just had their hand up. I forgot days. Okay. My initial value, if it's 1, my multiplier is 2. If I said 3 days, how much money would it be? Well, I just look up here and add those 3 together, right?
Mhm.
$ 0.07, 7 cents. My initial value is 2. My multiplier is 3, and the number of days, let's say, is 3. What should my total pay be? Well, this is me doing test data. So the first day would be 2 cents times 3. The second day would be 6 cents times another 3. The third day would be 18 cents. This would be 26 cents for my output. If you took a picture of this and uploaded it as your test data, would that be okay? Or does it have to formally be typed and all of that? It doesn't have to be formally typed. This is what I'm looking for. You to do it by hand. Let's do one more. 4 multiplier 4 days or 4 times and 4 days. What's the total? Four times 4 is 16 times that's 4 days. That's day 1. Day 2 times 4 is 64 times 4, 256. See, I'm getting a kick out of this because this is power of 2's. 2 squared, 2 to the 4th, 2 to the 6th, 2 to the 2 to the 8th. We all know 2 to the 8th is 256. That's 1 byte. That's 8 bits. Oh, my CPS 230, we do a lot of work with that. 256 is big. Some of you even going, wait, 0 to 255, that's how many ASCII characters there are. ASCII character 0 is null or false. Did anybody add these up yet?
340.
I got a 340. If you don't like 340, give me a holler. 10, 20, 30, 90, 40, 340, I'll go with that. So do you now have some test data for somewhat of a simple program? But I like it. Notice what I'm doing. I had a loop for 3 times. I have a loop for 4 times, so on and so on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a for loop to figure this out. A for loop. This is what you're going to be doing in your group. For loop is going to go from 1 to number of days. You're going to have an initial value. You're going to come in here and multiply it. You're going to print it out. Good. That's a for loop. The second thing you're going to do is have a while loop. Now, you all are going to try to do this all at one time, and that's fine. You get your kicks and giggles doing that. I would do this, make sure this works. Good. Then I'd put in an input validation. The input validation is all I want is make sure days is greater than 0. Okay. So I need to come in here, and if it's not greater than 0, I need to loop back around. So, it's one of these while not days greater than 0. If it's not greater than 0, I need to ask for it again and loop back up. There's your while loop. Once that's working, now I'm going to do the big one. All the way around this. This is going to be my do while to run again. That's going to be your first program. Again, I would do this and get this running. I would put the input validation in with a while loop and get it running. I would then put all this in a do while to run again. There's practice with all 3 types of loops. Number 1. Questions on the first program you're going to do in a group. Program number 2. Program number 2. You are going to simulate rolling a die 6,000 times. Okay. You're going to send the totals to a file. So if I send the totals, that means I may have something in the file that looks like this. There are 6 dice. This one is 998. This is 1,012, right? They're all going to be close to 1,000. And these all add up to be 6,000. But this is what all these totals are going to be in a file. This is a for loop. Going to have to use that random number generator. There are 6 numbers. I want to displace it by 1. But we're learning how to do all of this in C++. Remember, in our groups, we want to have a typer. In our groups, we want to have a watcher, someone who's talking and watching. Oh, you typed that wrong, forgot a symbol. We want to have at least one person with a textbook or the code listings readily available to jump at. If you sit here and try to, you make it the most efficient you can. Post your solutions. I had a girl in 162 say, "Can everybody post how we're doing some of this stuff? I'd like to gain other ideas." You know how to do that. Post it on the discussion board.